What's up, folks? It's DanielTheVapeMan. So today we are going to be doing the pros and cons of the Vaporesso, aka Renova Zero. And as you can see, I got the Orion Q here by Lost Vape. This is the Quest. I'll get into my presentation video on why I got the Quest. Then we also have the Nord. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm turning all these puppies on. So there we go, they're all on. So the Zero is a 650 mAh pod system by Vaporesso, aka Renova, I guess. It's by Vaporesso, but I guess they made a subgenre. So very simple. The pod comes out through here. You have a press to fill right there. Whoop, dropped it on you. We have a press to fill right here. Might not focus right. I gotta, oh, Jesus. Oh, timber, bitch. Jesus. Alright, so let's focus right there. See? So that button right there, these are your connections. I don't really like that the connections are right by the juice, but you just push down really hard and annoyingly on there, and it fills up, and here's the pod. You can get the pods, I believe they're in packages of 2, if I'm correct. And the pod fills up all the way to the mouthpiece. So let's focus on that, get it out of my face. Fills up all the way to here. Definitely in between a mouth to lung to a direct lung hit. So here's a mouth to lung. And here's a direct lung. So for mouth to lung, you get a nice, cool pull on it. Whereas a direct lung, it feels a little bit like you got something stuck in your straw. It can work, but it is very restrictive. It's more for a mouth to lung. I always direct lung. I just usually do that, but it is really fun to do mouth to lung on this. Another cool feature about this is it's 5 clicks to turn on this little black button, but then it's pull to fire. As you hit it, there's a color that shows up, and that is your battery life, if I'm correct. You can also see it through the USB a little bit. Another cool feature is if you 3 clicks, you can change the settings. Not the settings, but the mode. Basically, it's kind of stupid. So apparently green is the highest mode, and red is the lowest mode, and blue is the middle mode. Which seems backwards. It has to be backwards. But if you click it once, you can see what mode you're on. Yeah, that's the gist of it. It has this nice, cool, like, glassy stuff on the side. Several colors to choose from, your stereotypical colors, but it does have an Arctic blue, which is very unique, but I decided on the white, because I don't have a white pod. The feeling on it is in between. It's kind of rubbery feel. It doesn't get sticky like the Nord does. It's not slick. It's very easy to grip. Very easy to stealth. Perfect for when you're at work. If you do this... Damn it, you fucking Orion. That thing's heavy. If you do this, you can't see it. Boom. Every now and then, though, I do get a dry hit on it, which is very weird. By the way, stealthing and all that, only utilize that for work if you're under 18 or you're still in school. Fuck off. This is for 18-year-olds or 21-year-olds, depending upon where you live. And by stealthy, I mean at work or when you go to the bathroom at a restaurant. You know, not in front of people. Hide out in a corner, take a rip. Get your fix, hold it in for about 5 seconds, and nothing. But you get your fix. So let's get into the pros and cons about this. I've been using this nonstop since I got it on Thursday, and I think I can review it. But so the battery life I thought was going to be a huge problem. 650 mAh is it's in between. It's not the 1100s, the 950s, or whatever. That's going to last you all day. But I noticed with my other pods and using this on a regular basis is I've never even gotten past the green battery life or low battery. So it's not that big of a problem. This is definitely, in my opinion, I would say this is like a excuse me, still almost over this cold. Definitely it is a side piece or a backup or a second string, maybe not even a second string, a co-star. I definitely recommend bringing another pod with this just in case, unless if you're just out and about, like if you're just running. And also it depends, with the push to fire, it adds a little bit more work. You can't just do this. You can't do that. With Nord, you can hold it, but you can't inhale. You can on the Nova. But that becomes very useful. So if you're just going to the store real quick and you don't really want to like worry about anything, this is perfect. You just pull, good to go. Cons is definitely in the pod. For me, I think this would be better if you installed your own coil. But the biggest problem with it is the bottom fill push to fill. The problem with it is it's not too hard. You kind of got to push it down. But the problem with it is if you don't like the juice, you're shit out of luck. You're just going to have to finish that off. I haven't found a way to do it. Of course, you could, like, I guess, push this in and release all the juice. But with the connections there, I don't really want to do that. I know it will be reasonably safe, but it just seems a little sketchy. The pod can go on both sides. Very useful. Snaps into place. Well, if I do it right there, snaps into place. Very easy to hold, very easy to, you can hold it like a cigarette, literally. Which is what I tend to be doing, is I tend to hold it like a cigarette, and it's really fun to, like, just kind of have, I don't know, kind of like the fidget aspect of it when you have a cigarette and you talk with it, A lot of people, when coming off of the addiction to cigarettes, the problem with vapes is they don't have that, hold in your hand kind of, just keep your hands occupied, I guess, kind of thing. With this, you don't have that problem. You can hold it like a cigarette. You can with the other ones, but it doesn't feel the same because this is very light. This is lighter. This is just as light as like a 30 millimeter. We're all over the place here. I haven't done a pro and a con in a little bit. That was my biggest problem, is the bottom fill. The battery life hasn't been a problem for me yet, but it will be a problem for all-day vaping, especially if you vape at the amount that I do. Also, the pod, I really don't like that you can't put your own coil in there, and it's not a lot of, I think it's 1.5 milliliters. It's kind of small. Usually about a half a day I gotta fill it up. A couple hours I gotta fill it up, especially depends upon how much I'm vaping. Now on to the flavors and the pros and the cons of the flavors. So I noticed that sometimes I don't get any flavor, and then sometimes the flavor's just bursting. This doesn't have to do with charging. This is random. This, voltage drop or anything like that. Throughout the day, it goes up and down. In comparison, I will do a video up next after this one comparing these two items. The flavor is definitely a little bit lower than your top tier flavors. Your Orions, your Yeehys, your Novas, your Nords. It's a little bit below, but it can compete. I put some 48 in here. Don't recommend this for higher nicks, just for the simple fact that the flavor is little to nothing when you have higher nicks. In the 35 range, 30 range, the 25 range, the flavor seems to excel. But this is a perfect for mouth to lung device. So at the higher nicks, that's alright. But yeah, So let's just do a rundown in this video. Let's do the cons first. The cons is the milliliters, definitely not enough. Would have preferred bigger. Another one is I would have preferred to do the same thing as the Nord, install your own coils. Another con would be the battery life, depending upon who you are. It's definitely some that you can use for half the day or all day, depending upon how much you vape. The amount I vape, no. It's just, I don't feel safe doing it. 650 mAh is good enough to probably make it through the day, but I don't want to risk it. I prefer, 1,000 mAhs. Also, the con that I forgot to mention is I would have preferred if they had colors that matched what they did with, I think that was the Lux. I think they did that with the Lux Pod or whatever it's called. They matched the colors. I think it would have been really sick to have like a white pod here. I think that would have been vicious. Because it does kind of match the black button and the black. It does a little bit, But I think that would have been sick. Pros, ergonomics of it are absolutely amazing. Probably my favorite. Very thin, very easy to hold in multiple different ways. Pros is you can mouth to lung or you can direct lung. Very restricted direct lung, but you can direct lung. Pros and con is the flavor. It's very weird. It seems like it takes a little bit to get running, but once it starts running, it's good to go. The price, pro, very pro. You can find this anywhere, depending upon the sales, $20 to $30. Pods are the average $8 to $12. Pro. I got a good deal at my shop in my hometown. You can probably see all the links to them. They're Vapor Theory out in Fairfax, so I have all the links and stuff on my Instagram, well, and my Facebook. Looks. Besides ergonomics, looks, I really dig it. The size comparison, it is a little, it's Nova size. Width or whatever, height, there you go. Get to see all the comparisons. Here's the Orion, about the same height. We go sideways, a little bit less thick. Bottom, there you go. 30 milliliter bottle comparison, about the same size, a little bit. Height, width, you know the deal. Overall, would I recommend this pod mod? Yes and no. I would recommend this preferably to a mouth to lunger. I think it excels at that. I think it has a perfect drag for mouth to lung. And it definitely hits harder in mouth to lung, and I feel like you get a little bit more flavor than direct lung. You can use this in direct lung. I would recommend going with the Orion or the Nord or the Mimic for those. Those are better direct lung hits. I would recommend this for a beginner podder, if that is a word. It's just simple, easy, light, not too much to it. There is no coils, there is no chip, nothing like that. And I would just recommend it overall to add it to your collection. It is really a nice pod. I do dig it. I will compare it and rank it in my next video, and I'll tell you where I rank. I'm already up to 7 pods in a month. I have a problem. I got the fever. But yeah, 7 pods. Well, 6 because I have 2 Nords, but 7. But yeah, so really, really dig it. I would recommend it. I would give this an overall of an 8. If they added more flavor, aka coils, they added a bigger pod, and maybe a little bit more mAh, although it's not that important because 650 is decent. I wouldn't mind extending it to the length of the Nord to get it a little bit more battery life, maybe 850, maybe. If they fix those 3 things, I would give this a solid 9. The flavor, overall, I give that about an 8 as well. The looks, I give it about a 9. Ergonomics, I give that a 10. It's perfect. Pod life, I don't know about it. This pod has been in there since Thursday. I haven't noticed much about it, decrease in flavor, but as I said, it's kind of weird. It goes back and forth between abundance of flavor and no flavor, and then it goes, you get a dry hit sometimes. a bad dry hit, like the worst dry hit out of all the pods I've had. Anyways, that's been the Renova, aka Vaporesso 0. Thank you very much for watching. Next up, we're going to compare this to the Nord. Then after that, we're going to open this puppy up, even though clearly it is open. And then after that, we're going to review this. Auhcke Salts Oasis. So a lot more to go, folks. Stay tuned. Peace.